They stood in my Seattle apartment like they owned it, my mother's perfume sharp as a blade, my brother's smirk a silent dare. I'm Olivia, 32, and I've built a life from scraps they never noticed. 6 figures, a corner office, a view of Puget Sound that glitters like a promise. But that Thursday, Victoria and Liam weren't here to admire my view. They wanted my money, and I was done bleeding for them. The air crackled with their expectations, and I felt the old weight of their voices, the ones that called me selfish, dramatic, too much. This time, I wouldn't bend. Victoria's heels clicked on my hardwood floor, her eyes scanning my furniture like she was pricing it. "You're being selfish, Olivia," she said, voice smooth as ice. "This is what family does." I'd heard those words before, when I was 13, handing over $200 in birthday cash so Liam could go to soccer camp. At 17, skipping prom to pay for my SAT tutor because they couldn't afford both. At 22, juggling 3 jobs through college while Liam, 36 now, burned through Dad's retirement on his 3rd failed business, still lounging rent-free in their Tacoma guest house. My arms were folded tightly. "No," I said, "I'm not giving you my money." Victoria blinked like I'd slapped her. Her lips thinned. "It's not your money. It's family money. We raised you." My pulse hammered, but my voice stayed steady. "You raised me to survive you, and I supported myself." She stood there, a stranger in my home, never once congratulating me on the job that got me here. $120,000 a year, full benefits. Liam leaned against my kitchen counter, smirking like he'd already won. "Look, Liv," he said, "it's not that deep. Just help out. My new startup's a sure thing." I met his eyes. "I'm not funding your 4th startup, Liam. You blew through Mom's emergency fund and Dad's 401k. I'm not next." His face twisted. "Wow, you think you're better than us now?" I didn't flinch. "No," I said softly. "I've always known I was." Victoria's eyes flashed. "We're your family. Without us, you'd be nothing." I opened the door, the Seattle drizzle hissing outside. "Then you'll be fine without me." She didn't move, her voice low. "You'll regret this. Blood is blood." I stared until she walked out, Liam trailing like a sulking child. The door clicked shut and I exhaled, thinking it was over. I was wrong. That Monday, 10 miles away at my office, the receptionist handed me an envelope, her face pale. "I'm sorry, Olivia. You have to sign." A man in a suit waited in the lobby, his smile smug. "Olivia, right? You've been served." My hand stayed steady until I read the first line in the break room, the fluorescent lights buzzing like wasps. "Petition for conservatorship based on mental incompetence." I sat down hard, the paper trembling. They weren't just after my money, they wanted to erase me. I grew up in a house where silence was currency, love a transaction. In Tacoma, 35 miles south, Liam could have set the kitchen on fire and been called creative. I got grounded for a B+ in math. Favoritism wasn't subtle. It was a birthday with no candles. My name skipped at the dinner table, Mom telling neighbors, "Liam's our little genius," while I stood there, scholarship in hand. I learned early to keep records. At 11, I recorded Mom screaming, I stole her bracelet. Liam had pawned it for weed, but she never asked him. That file, backed up on 3 drives, was my armor. Back in my apartment, I opened my laptop, folders labeled by date, by pain, gaslighting, threats, manipulation. Voicemails played, Mom's voice cold. "Don't embarrass us, Olivia. Help Liam." Liam's laughter is in the background. My voice, small, then stronger. I wasn't crazy, just raised by people who needed me to think I was. My hands stopped shaking. They'd come for me, but I'd been ready for years. They trained me to survive, and now they'd face the woman I'd become. The Seattle skyline blinked through my window, a city that didn't care about my past but held my future. I'm Olivia, 32, and my family's court papers sat on my desk like a loaded gun. Mental incompetence, a lie to steal my life. I'd survived their games before, but this was war, and I couldn't fight alone. My laptop glowed with evidence, Years of their words weaponized against me. I needed allies, people who'd see the truth beneath their polished lies. The city hummed and I picked up my phone, heart racing, to call the one person who'd always had my back. Nico answered on the second ring, his voice sharp. "Liv, what's wrong?" I exhaled, the weight of the papers pressing my chest. "They're trying to put me under conservatorship, claiming I'm unfit." Silence then. What the actual hell? Nico, my college debate partner, knew the scars of my Tacoma childhood. Liam's tantrums, mom's ice, dad's absence. "I need help," I said. "Legal help. And I think I know who to ask." He didn't hesitate. "Send me everything. We'll bury them." I smiled, the first in days, and emailed him my archive. Texts, recordings, screenshots of Liam's 2 a.m. demands for cash. Next, I pulled out an old photo album from last Christmas, buried in my parents' attic under tax forms and Liam's baby teeth, 35 miles away. A 1993 picture showed Mom, younger, beside a woman with my eyes. The back read, "Yvette, don't tell Derek," in faded ink. Mom said Yvette was dead. Google said otherwise, a family lawyer in Bellevue, 15 miles east, with Mom's maiden name. I drove through the drizzle, clutching the photo like a talisman, and walked into Yvette McBride's office unannounced. The receptionist hesitated. "No appointment?" I swallowed. "It's about Victoria." Her eyes flickered. "Wait here." 10 minutes later, Yvette emerged, mid-60s, silver hair in a tight bun, suit sharp as her gaze. She stopped, eyes widening. "Olivia?" I nodded, handing her the photo. "This was in their attic. You're in it." Her jaw tightened as she stared. "I didn't think she kept this." I pulled the court papers from my bag. "They're claiming I'm mentally unfit to take my finances." Yvette scanned them, her face unreadable. "This is serious." I met her eyes. "That's why I'm here. You're the only one they erased like me." She leaned back, tapping the papers. "Do you have evidence?" I opened my laptop, voicemails, texts, a clip of Liam demanding $5,000. Her eyes sharpened. "Send me everything. We'll file a response and request a hearing." I nodded, relief flooding me. "Thank you." She paused. "Olivia, do you understand what you're starting?" I didn't blink. They started it. Back in Seattle, I drove 12 miles to Renton to meet Savannah, Liam's ex, in her small, clean apartment. A dog barked from the back. She stood in the doorway, arms crossed, sharper than when I'd last seen her at a family dinner. "Why now?" she asked. I leaned forward. "Because you know who Liam is, and I think you're tired of pretending." She studied me, then stepped aside. 5 minutes. Inside, she tossed a hoodie over laundry and sat, legs bouncing. "He drained our joint account," she said it was a business emergency, bought a drone and a PS5. I nodded. "Sounds like him," she scoffed. "He said I was lucky to be with him, that my job didn't matter because he'd be a millionaire by 30. He's 36. I opened my audio app. "Can I record?" She hesitated, then nodded. "Only if you protect me from court," I promised to try, hitting record. She took a breath. "Thanksgiving 2 years ago at your parents'. Liam was drunk, yelling about your promotion, how you thought you were better. My phone was in the baby's room, monitor on. It caught everything." My eyes widened. "You have it?" She handed me a flash drive, her fingers cold. "There's more. Your mom told me you were unstable, had episodes. Said if Liam needed to protect the family, they had ways to handle you." My stomach twisted. "She said that to you?" Savannah nodded. "I didn't believe her until I saw how they treated you." I left with the flash drive, its weight heavier than its size. Back home, Nico sat on my floor, laptop open, sorting files. "This voicemail," he said, "where your mom says, 'You're just like your aunt, always ruining everything.' It's gold. Proves she knows Yvette exists." I pulled out a USB drive. "This has the 2018 Christmas recording, Liam calling me a parasite for not paying his car loan." Nico whistled. "Your family's a mess." I stared at my screen, folders labeled threats, manipulation. You've only seen the highlights. He looked up. You okay? I didn't know, but I was ready. They thought I was a ghost. I'd show them I was fired. The Bellevue law office smelled of leather and old books, a world away from the Tacoma house where I'd learned to hide my voice. I'm Olivia, 32, and my laptop sat open on Yvette's desk, its folders, gaslighting, threats, manipulation, a map of my survival. The conservatorship petition loomed like a storm, but I wasn't alone anymore. Nico's tech skills, Savannah's flash drive, and Yvette's legal mind were my arsenal. The Seattle rain tapped the windows, steady as a pulse, and I felt it. The shift from fear to fight. My family thought they'd break me. They'd forgotten who they'd trained. Yvette leaned back in her chair, eyes scanning a text from Liam demanding $5,000 at 2 a.m. "This is gold," she said, her voice sharp as her suit. "It shows intent, pattern, and character." I nodded, the weight of years lifting slightly. "What's our move?" She tapped a pen against the desk. "We file a response to the petition, request a hearing, and submit this as evidence. Savannah's Thanksgiving recording, your voicemails, the texts. We'll need more, though. Medical records, employment history, anything proving you're stable." I pulled a folder from my bag. School records, performance reviews, no debt, no diagnoses. Clean. She took it, her lips twitching. "They underestimated you." She paused, eyes narrowing. "There's something else. The photo you found, your mom and I with Thomas. I think he's your real father." My breath caught. "You're sure?" She shook her head. "Not yet. But Victoria changed your birth certificate in 1995. If Derek isn't your father, their claim collapses." My stomach churned. Why would she do that? Yvette's gaze hardened. "Money. If you're Derek's daughter, they can tie your finances to a family trust. If not, they have no standing." I swallowed. "Let's get a DNA test, quietly." She nodded, already in motion, results in a week. Back in my Seattle apartment, 15 miles away, Nico sprawled on my couch, laptop glowing. "This 2018 Christmas recording," he said, "where Liam screams you're a parasite for not paying his car loan? It's brutal." I sat beside him, the city lights flickering outside. "Play it." Liam's voice slurred through the speakers, Mom's in the background. "Olivia, don't make a scene." Nico winced. "This shows they've been gaslighting you forever." I nodded, pulling up a voicemail from Mom. "You're just like your aunt, always ruining everything." Nico grinned. "That's admissible. Proves Yvette exists, and they lied about her." We sorted files late into the night, labeling them admissible evidence. A text from Savannah popped up, a bank statement showing Liam used her name for a $10,000 credit line. "He said Victoria would cover it," she wrote. I forwarded it to Yvette. "This is fraud," I said. Nico looked up, eyes serious. "Liv, this isn't just about the conservatorship, it's bigger." I stared at the folders, my life reduced to timestamps and pain. "It always was." He nudged my shoulder. "You're ready for this?" I didn't know if I was, but I wasn't backing down. The next morning, Yvette emailed a draft response to the petition, CCing me. "We're requesting an independent psych evaluation," she wrote. "Voluntary. It'll shut down their mental incompetence claim." I read the document, her words precise, cutting. She'd attached Savannah's recording and my financial records. $120,000 salary, no missed payments. My hands shook, not from fear, but from power. They'd called me unstable, but I'd built a life they couldn't touch. Now, I'd use it to bury them. I met Nico at a diner, 5 miles from my office, sliding him a USB drive. "More texts," I said. "Liam threatening to ruin me if I didn't send $3,000 last year." He plugged it in, whistling. "This guy's a walking lawsuit." I sipped my coffee, the steam curling like resolve. He's about to find out. Yvette's words echoed. "They underestimated you." They had. I wasn't just fighting for my money. I was fighting for my name, my truth, my life. The hearing was 2 weeks away, and I was sharpening my blades. The Tacoma house loomed in the midnight dark, 35 miles from my Seattle sanctuary, its silence thicker than the rain. I'm Olivia, 32, and the attic safe held secrets my family thought buried. Yvette's DNA test was pending, but I needed more proof of their lies beyond my recordings. The conservatorship hearing was closing in, and the mediation session tomorrow would test my resolve. My key still worked, the door creaking as I slipped inside, heart pounding. They'd tried to erase me, but I was rewriting the story. The attic smelled of dust and deceit, Christmas boxes hiding the safe I'd glimpsed as a kid. Victoria always called its contents boring paperwork. I knelt, fingers tracing the dial. Liam's birthday, proof of their favoritism, clicked it open. Inside, folders spilled out, tax returns, legal documents, and an envelope with my name in shaky handwriting. I opened it, breath hitching. Olivia, if you're reading this, I failed you. I watched you grow, stronger than Victoria ever imagined. You deserve the truth. Love, Yvette. My eyes stung. She'd been there, silenced like me, but she'd left me a lifeline. Another envelope, addressed to Victoria, held a 1995 birth certificate, mine, listing Derek as my father. A notarized letter contradicted it, hinting at Thomas as my real father. My chest tightened. They'd rewritten my identity for a trust fund, funneling my grandfather's money to Liam alone. I stuffed the papers in my bag, the attic walls closing in. Downstairs, the house was still, but it felt alive with their lies. I drove back to Seattle, the envelope burning in my passenger seat. The next day, the Tacoma house smelled of lemon cleaner and pretense, 35 miles from my truth. Court-mandated mediation was a trap, but Yvette said it was strategic. Let them expose themselves. Victoria greeted me with a fake smile. Olivia, you look tired. I stepped inside, voice steady. You look desperate. Derek clutched a mug in the living room, avoiding my eyes. The mediator, a calm woman in her 50s, opened her notebook. Let's begin. Victoria started, voice syrupy. We love our daughter, but she's under stress, making irrational decisions. I snorted. Like not giving you my money? Victoria's smile faltered. Like accusing us of theft. I slid a printed email across the table. 2017, Mom asking me to co-sign a $20,000 loan for Liam. I'd refused, and she'd called me a selfish little girl. The mediator raised an eyebrow. Victoria's face stayed blank. Out of context, I pulled another, a text from Liam. Send me $5,000 or I'll ruin you. Derek finally spoke, his voice weak. Olivia, you're blowing this out of proportion. I turned to him, the photo of Thomas in my bag like a grenade. Did you know I'm not your daughter? Silence swallowed the room. Victoria's face went white. Derek blinked. What? I pressed on. Mom had an affair with Thomas when I was conceived. You changed my birth certificate to tie me to the family trust, then funneled it all to Liam. Victoria stood, voice shrill. This is ridiculous. The mediator cleared her throat. Let's pause. I shook my head. No, we're finishing. Victoria leaned over the table, eyes wild. You think you can destroy us? You're a bitter little girl with daddy issues. I stood, bag in hand. No, I'm a woman with evidence. I turned to Derek. Did you know? He didn't answer. Victoria snapped. He knew. He didn't care, as long as the money stayed in the family. Derek flinched. Victoria. I stared at him. You're worse than she is. I walked out, the door slamming behind me. The rain hit my face, but I felt alive, unburied. Back in Seattle, I called Yvette, voice steady. I found papers in the safe. My original birth certificate, a letter about Thomas, proof they stole my inheritance. She exhaled. That's dynamite. If the DNA confirms Thomas is your father, their case is dead. I opened the envelope, rereading Yvette's letter. There's more. She wrote to me, said I was stronger than they imagined. Yvette's voice softened. She's right. I hung up, staring at the city lights. They'd built a cage around me, but I'd found the key. The hearing was days away, and I wasn't just fighting for my money. I was fighting for my blood, my name, my truth. The King County Courthouse in Seattle smelled of polished wood and nerves, its high ceilings echoing whispers of justice. I'm Olivia, 32, and today, my family's lies would face the fire I'd kindled with years of evidence. The conservatorship petition was a noose they'd tied, but Yvette's strategy, Savannah's recording, and the attic's secrets, my birth certificate, Yvette's letter, were my blades. Nico sat beside me, his hand steady on a water bottle, while Savannah nodded from the gallery, her presence a quiet vow. The gavel's echo called us to stand, and I breathed deep, ready to burn their empire down. Judge Rhee, tall and unsmiling, scanned the room, her eyes sharp as scalpels. My parents and Liam sat across the aisle, dressed like a family Christmas card. Victoria in pearls, Liam in a pressed suit, Derek's gaze fixed on the floor. Their lawyer, Carson, rose, all smug polish. Your Honor, the Hayes family seeks conservatorship out of concern for Olivia's mental well-being. She's shown erratic, paranoid behavior, isolating herself and making reckless financial decisions. I nearly laughed. Yvette stood, voice calm but lethal. Objection. No medical evidence, police reports, or financial instability supports this. My client earns $120,000 annually with a flawless record. Judge Rhee nodded. Sustained. Stick to facts, Mr. Carson. Carson cleared his throat. We have statements from family detailing emotional outbursts. Liam took the stand, swaggering like he owned the room. Olivia's been off, he said, feigning concern. She cut us off for no reason, accused Mom of stealing. Insane stuff. She's always been emotional, like screaming over a phone charger. My fist clenched under the table. Yvette whispered, "Let him lie." Carson smiled. Is she financially irresponsible? Liam leaned forward. She bought a $2,000 couch while we're struggling. Yvette rose. Objection. Her income supports that purchase. The family's struggles stem from Liam's failed businesses. Judge Rhee's eyes narrowed. Move on. Victoria took the stand, her gaze piercing me. Olivia's always been sensitive, she said, voice dripping with pity. We tried to help, but she pushes us away, thinks we're out to get her. Yvette stood, handing a flash drive to the bailiff. Exhibit A, Your Honor. The Thanksgiving recording played, Liam's voice slurring. She thinks she's better than me. That money should have been mine. I'll make her life hell. Victoria's voice followed. Don't provoke him, Olivia. The courtroom went silent. Judge Rhee looked at Victoria. Is this your voice? Her jaw tightened. Out of context, Yvette smiled. We have the full 37 minutes, Your Honor. The judge waved it off. Enough for now. Savannah testified next, her voice steady despite her small frame. Liam used my name for a $10,000 credit line, she said. When I confronted him, Victoria said it was just paperwork, told me to stop being dramatic. Judge Rhee leaned forward. Did Victoria know it was fraud? Savannah nodded. Yes. Gasps rippled through the gallery. Yvette submitted the audio as evidence of manipulation. Nico followed, laptop open. This transaction log, he said, shows Liam transferred $15,000 to a fake LLC. The account traces to Victoria's name. Judge Rhee raised an eyebrow. You're alleging fraud? Nico nodded. Yes, Your Honor. The judge turned to me. Miss Olivia, would you like to speak? I stood, heart pounding, and walked to the stand, facing Victoria. For years, I thought I was crazy, too sensitive, too dramatic. But I wasn't. It was inconvenient. I didn't fit your family myth. I turned to Judge Rhee. I've worked since 15, paid for college, never asked for a cent. When I built something, they wanted it. When I said no, they called me insane. Carson rose. Objection. Judge Rhee cut him off. Sit down. Yvette approached the bench, a sealed envelope in hand. Your Honor, DNA results confirm Olivia is not Derek's daughter, invalidating the petitioner's legal standing. Victoria stood, chair screeching. This is slander! Yvette didn't flinch. This is science. You forged her birth certificate, funneled trust money to Liam, and lied to this court. Derek's voice broke through. You told me she was mine. Victoria snapped. You knew it didn't matter. Judge Ree opened the envelope, her eyes scanning. We'll reconvene in 3 days. I'm blocking petitioner's access to Olivia's accounts. The gavel banged. Outside, Victoria grabbed my arm. What are you doing? I shook her off. You should have left me alone. Liam stepped forward, eyes wild. This isn't over. I met his gaze. You already lost. Yvette appeared behind me. Step back, Liam. He retreated, and I walked away, the Seattle skyline sharp against the dusk. They'd tried to cage me, but I'd shattered the bars. The Seattle dusk painted my balcony in gold, a city that held my scars and my strength. I'm Olivia, 32, and the courtroom victory was mine. Conservatorship denied, my family's fraud exposed, their empire crumbling under the weight of truth. But justice wasn't clean. It left a hollow ache, the ghost of a family I'd never had. Yvette's office, 15 miles away in Bellevue, held the final papers, and my apartment was stacked with donation boxes, shedding the skin of a life built to survive them. I wasn't just free. I was becoming. In Yvette's office, she poured 2 glasses of wine, the leather chairs creaking as we sat. To the end of the worst chapter, she said, handing me a folder. Damages, restitution, a state apology for mishandling the filing. I flipped through hundreds of thousands in awards. This is a lot, I said. She smiled. You earned every penny. I traced the folder's edge, thinking of her letter from the attic. Why did you write to me? Her eyes softened. I knew you'd need the truth, not from a judge, but from someone who's been erased like you. I raised my glass. To the next chapter. Back home, Nico arrived with takeout, eyeing the donation boxes, old awards, photos, journals too painful to reread. You sure about letting this go? He asked. I taped a box shut. It's not who I am anymore. He grinned, setting down lo mein. You could write a book. People would eat it up. I laughed, the idea sparking. At my desk, I opened a notebook, writing, This is not about revenge. This is about reclamation. Nico peered over. That's your title? I smiled. Working on it. The cemetery, 20 miles outside Seattle, was quiet, the gray sky heavy with unsaid words. Thomas Reeves' headstone stood modest, leaves dusting its base. I crouched, wiping them away. I don't know if you knew me, I whispered, placing a copy of the DNA results down. But I know you now. Footsteps crunched behind me. Yvette, holding 2 coffees, handed me one. Didn't think you'd come, I said. She nodded at the stone. I owed him, and you. We stood, sipping in silence. I started the scholarship fund, I said, in his name, for kids invisible in their homes. She smiled. He'd have loved that. I looked at her. Would he have loved me? Her answer was instant, without question. Weeks later, in a grocery store parking lot, Victoria's voice stopped me. Olivia. She sat in her car, older, guilt-carving lines in her face. I didn't know how to love you, she said. I turned, steady. You weren't keeping me safe. You kept me small. Her eyes glistened. Do you hate me? I held her gaze. No, but I don't forgive you. Not yet. She nodded, and I walked away, her window rolling up like a curtain falling. That night, on my balcony with Yvette and Nico, the city lights pulsed below. We passed a wine bottle, the air crisp. Justice feels messier than I thought, I said. Yvette chuckled. It always is. Nico leaned back. You lost the illusion. That's the hard part. I nodded, pulling out a document. Name change approval, Olivia Reeves. I gained this, I said. My name, all of it. Yvette raised her glass. To Olivia Reeves. Nico clinked mine. To truth. The glasses rang, and for the first time, I wasn't surviving. I was living. My phone buzzed, an unknown number. You think this is over? I stared, then blocked it. The DA had called earlier. Liam faced wire fraud charges, Victoria perjury. If they came again, I was ready. The next morning, I added to my notebook, words flowing like a river. I didn't burn their empire for revenge. I did it to reclaim the girl they tried to erase, to build a legacy for others like her, and to live as Olivia Reeves, unapologetically mine.